How is it going, everyone? I hope you guys are having a great day so far, but I'm here to give you my review on Tokyo Ghoul Re, chapter 131, entitled Thinking Pig. A ridiculous title, yes, but the content we got in this chapter, there's a lot to discuss. Like, I took a bunch of notes, I reread this chapter about 3 to 4 times, and there are some interesting things that got revealed and some information that we desperately needed, especially concerning with Kaneki's health and also Toka's mentality moving forward. I'm really glad we got that information in this chapter, and honestly, I don't know where I want to begin and what I want to talk about for this review, because we have Hajime's obsession with Kaneki. Like, I was not expecting that at all in this chapter, especially from his character, but even getting the reveal of Kaneki's deteriorating health and the fact that he is aging rapidly, very similar to Arima. We also had Ayato's adventures in the underground. That was possibly my favorite part of this entire chapter. And then lastly, Toka finally revealing to Kaneki that she is probably pregnant. Like, that is a big step forward right there within their relationship, and it's going to be very interesting moving forward to see, especially with everything with Yoriko, Kaneki possibly dying, Toka and Kaneki about to have a child. Like, there is a lot on Kaneki's plate right now. Like, I'm amazed that he's able to function after all of the stuff going on in his life right now, because not only is Toka's best friend Yoriko being put up for execution, not only is he leading the resistance of ghouls as the One-Eyed King, and not only is he rapidly aging and possibly dying soon, now he has a kid on the way. Kaneki, how do you do it, my boy? Like, honestly, I understand why his health looked the way it was, but knowing that he's actually slowly dying, I feel bad for the guy right now. So, starting off at the very beginning, let's just talk about Kaneki's #1 fanboy, Hajime. This part in the chapter I was not expecting at all, because you just see Hajime sitting back, he's contained with like a Kagune type restraint, and he's just sitting there in his cell, but as soon as Kaneki shows his face on the other side of the door, Hajime awakens, like inner fanboy unleashed. Like, he immediately begins rubbing up against the door and is like, Ken Kaneki, you're the real deal. You were the first human to ever have a half Kakuja. I used to rewatch all of your videos back at CCG, all of the O guys, we used to have movie night watching your shit, and I'm like, yo, where the hell did this come from? Like, I did not realize Kaneki had the O guy fan club on his side. Like, I was not expecting that at all to come from Hajime's character, and the fact that Kaneki just took that all and was like, I'm honored, but let's talk about this letter Mitsuki gave you. Like, I was like, yo, like, you're just gonna, like, not even, like, acknowledge the fact that this man is totally obsessed with you and your skills, power, and strength? Like, that right there alone, I was like, I was not expecting that this chapter. But I love the fact that as he's walking away from him, and you just hear this dialogue of him basically saying, like, wait, are you going to the surface? Take me with you. And he's like, nah, I'm not taking you. But I like the fact now that Kaneki is right now thinking about, you know, possibly meeting up with Mitsuki. Like, we already know that him meeting up with Mitsuki, if that does happen, only spells disaster, because just with how unstable Mitsuki is. Like, we don't know if Mitsuki was telling the truth or lying with the fact that it's like, I want to join you. Like, Mitsuki is so unstable. Like, I honestly think that Mitsuki would change her mind like that if anything were to happen. Like, Kaneki showed up and say, like, oh yeah, I got a kid on the way. Snap. Like, oh yeah, I'm leading the ghouls. Snap. Like, Mitsuki is such a wild card right now. But this leads into the next reveal or revelation for this chapter, and that pertains to Kaneki's health, because I even pointed this out in chapter 129. In my review for that chapter, I noticed that Kaneki was bleeding from his eye, his human eye, and I was like, why is he bleeding? Did he get in a fight with, like, Hajime? Like, what was the deal there? And we get the reveal in this chapter, which is basically that he is deteriorating health-wise. Like, he is rapidly aging, and we have Dr. Nishiki basically show up with his pharmaceutical degree from Kami University, and he's basically giving Kaneki the rundown about how DNA works. We got some cute little diagrams, and he is the one that basically gives Kaneki the rundown. It's like, yeah, you're rapidly aging, and we've seen this once before with Arima and also other artificial half-human, half-ghoul hybrids, but we've not seen this with Kaneki yet. So this is a new revelation, just to put like a wrench in the wheel for Kaneki's, you know, rise to power as the One-Eyed King. Because like I just stated earlier, not only does he have a kid on the way and he has to help save, hopefully, Yoriko from execution and lead all his ghouls under Goat, he is now slowly dying. And so like that just is like puts it in perspective right there. And even Nishiki gives him some alternatives about how to prolong his death. Number 1, don't use your Kagane. Sounds simple enough, but he kind of needs that in order to fight. Number 2, don't get injured. That's also very tough to do when you have Mitsuki on your ass basically trying to kill you. And I think the only possible like option he has at the moment is ghoul cannibalization in order to take in a large amount of RC cells so that way he can replenish them and kind of slow down the process of his rapid aging. But this is the question I know a lot of people are wondering. It's like, why doesn't he do that? He did that all in part 1. He used to just cannibalize on ghouls all the time. But now he technically can't do that, and here is why. If you were a ghoul under Goat, let's say you were under the One-Eyed King himself and you knew that Kaneki, the One-Eyed King, was cannibalizing on ghouls, would you follow him? Would you follow the man that's supposed to liberate all of ghoul kind, but yet you know that he is secretly eating your kind as well? That right there, you can kind of see the dilemma to where Kaneki can't really do that, because if he's saying he's fighting for ghoul rights and ghoul kind, but yet in the shadows he's cannibalizing on his own kind, on ghouls, you can't really follow a leader that is kind of hypocritical in the way he's leading you. So that's the dilemma that Kaneki is in right now. It's either don't eat any ghouls or eat some ghouls but then lose all the respect of your men. So that is the dilemma right now that Kaneki kind of is in right now. And him slowly dying just adds to the fact, especially with his conversation that happens at the end of this chapter with Toka, knowing that Yoriko is about to be executed, but not letting Kaneki know that she knows that information. And we know that Kaneki knows that she knows about the execution because when he was on his cot and he put his hand underneath his pillow, he felt that the letter was moved. So he knows that Toka knows about everything going on with Yoriko, but yet he was so nervous trying to bring it up to her, and he ended up not bringing it up to her at all because Toka ended up dropping the bomb on him that she most likely probably is pregnant. Kaneki had his speculations because he saw the calendar. He had like theories and he was like, I think Toka might be pregnant, especially with Nishiki dropping the ball on him and him realizing it's like, oh shit, I got a child on the way. But now he's got verbal confirmation that Toka is pregnant. And I gotta say this right here. This just goes to show how mature right now Toka has grown as a character, because in the past, as soon as Toka learned about Yoriko's possible execution, she would have just went right in trying to rescue Yoriko. But right now that she is an expecting mother and she has a child growing inside her, she has 2 lives to worry about: herself and her child. And this goes to show that she is putting her safety, her child's safety above all else, and is making the choice. That is the key phrase here. She is making the choice to not even bring up the fact that Yoriko might be executed and hopefully keep the child inside her alive and not get in harm's way. Even Kaneki realizes this, because once he gets the news that Toka is pregnant, he puts 2 and 2 together. It's like, wait, you're ignoring the fact that your best friend is about to be put on the chopping block, but yet you're still willing, to save the child within her. He understands it completely, but it's like, this is your best friend. He doesn't know what to think right now. And he even goes on to saying, it's like, well, all right, let's go with it. This is the path you've chosen. When is the baby due? So we have basically a time frame of when this baby is most likely due, which is in December, which we already knew, but it's like almost around the time around Kaneki's birthday, around the 12th to the 19th, maybe even the 20th. We don't know yet, but we know that it's going to be in December. But then Kaneki ends up dropping the bombshell too on Toka, asking her about ghoul weddings. Like, are they similar to human weddings? How does this work? So he's basically asking Toka right then and there to marry her. And I'm not sure if a lot of people actually picked up on that. That was basically a marriage proposal from Kaneki to Toka. And then they later consummated that, not the relationship, but I would say the marriage proposal, by taking a chunk out of Toka's shoulder. And this is very similar if you go back to part 1 of Tokyo Ghoul. It's even gonna be the image of the thumbnail for this review. All the way back in part 1 when Toka bit Kaneki's shoulder. It's in the same spot that Kaneki did in this chapter, and it was all the way back during the Tsukiyama fight during the gourmet arc. I do find it very funny that Ishida loves to do his parallels, and the fact that Toka and Kaneki both bit kind of the same shoulder in the same spot on each other, and now we have matching bite marks. So basically that is their rings, just to show everyone else, yes, we're a couple, yes, we're together, and this is going to be proof that we belong together. So that is basically where we are left off with Kaneki and Toka's relationship right now within this chapter. But now I gotta move on to my favorite section of this chapter, which pertains to Ayato's adventures in the underground. He basically gets ambushed by 3 childlike ghouls, and I love what ensues because the dialogue between Ayato and these 3 ghouls is absolutely hilarious. But before I even talk about that, there's 2 things I gotta bring up. One, on page 12, if you look at this character's Kagane, this ghoul from the 24th ward, it is very similar to Hanami's. I even pointed this out in my live reaction, but you can tell that that is very similar design to Hanami's Kagane type, the one that she adopted from her father. So I just wanted to point that out once again here, but then also the dialogue from Ayato on that same page where he says this: "If so, I've got to make my Kagane into a form that'll let me finish you lot off in one go. What with my condition and all." And that line right there is what raises a lot of questions. What is this condition that Ayato is talking about? I have 2 that come to mind. One could possibly be that Kaneki told him that if you encounter any ghouls in the underground, don't kill them, just subdue them and try to get as much information out of them as possible. The other one, which is a lot more likely, tends to do with his Kagane type. He is an Ukaku user, which means he is into fast fights. He is not good on endurance. So he wants to make this fight go as quickly as possible because the more it is drawn out, the slower and weaker he will become. So that might be what he is basically saying when he mentions my condition overall. So that's where I see that basically lying with Ayato and that piece of dialogue there. But once he subdues these 3 ghouls, I love on page 14 just the panel of just how pissed they are. They look exactly like Misa, and one of them's going like this. But it's the dialogue. It reminds me so much of Gollum / Smeagol in Lord of the Rings combined with Jar Jar Binks from Star Wars. I'm gonna read this line right now, and this is how I kind of view it right now after 3 to 4 times of reading it. "Eating us uppin'. If you're gonna eatin' us, doing it up. You're gonna chicken cutting us uppin'." That right there, I'm like, what the fuck type of dialogue is that? I can't understand half of that dialogue right there. Even Ayato cannot make a lick of sense of the dialogue that they are spewing out of their mouths. But that just goes to show that deep in the underground, they don't have education systems. They just communicate with their own kind and kind of have developed their own dialect for the underground, which I gotta say is very, very cool. But as the dialogue moves even forward from that, he starts asking them questions about the 24th ward and what happened to all the other ghouls. And these 3 ghouls have no idea what he's talking about. They're like, 24th ward? What's a ghoul? We don't know what a ghoul is. And he's just like, but you guys just use Kaganes similar to what I do. And they're immediately like, we're confused as all hell right now. This is Tokyo. We're humans. And I immediately understood where this was going and where Ishida was taking this, because you gotta view it from these characters' point of view. If you were born deep in the underground and you've never seen the outside world, the surface world, this is your normal. This is your world. Living in this society, you're just gonna view yourselves as normal people, as humans. Even though they are ghouls, they don't have humans living within their society. So technically, within their society and within their norms, they are technically human, which I find very, very interesting and fascinating. And this just leads into more questions because I want to know, what is this Naga that gets dropped in the middle of this like conversation between the 2? Because he starts asking, it's like, well, what happened to this city? And it's like, oh, what happened is this Naga. The Nagas braked everything. And the note in this chapter saying that Naga is a race of serpents in Hindu mythology. And if we look at that panel, we just see this massive ass Kagane type structure just going through the streets of this underground city. It's got limbs protruding from it. I have no idea if this is a Kagane type or if this is the extension of this legendary one-eyed ghoul that we are looking for deep in the underground. And my other question is, does this have anything to pertain to the dragon project that got mentioned by Furuta? Because as we know, Naga means serpent, and a serpent can be a type of dragon. So this is either pertaining to the one-eyed ghoul that we're looking for in the 24th ward, or this could even pertain to the dragon project that Furuta mentioned a few chapters back. So there is a lot of speculation just to go on just with the underground section of this chapter as a whole. But overall, this chapter gave us a lot of new information that we desperately needed. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this chapter. What is the most interesting part of this chapter in your eyes? Is it the whole Kaneki and Toka conversation? Is it fanboy Hajime? Is it the fact that we finally learned that Kaneki is slowly dying? Or is it the underground whole bit of this chapter? That's my personal favorite, but I definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts. So leave your thoughts down in the comments below. And if there's anything I missed and you think that I should have went over for this chapter, leave that down in the comments as well. I love getting to talk with you guys. This is one of the funnest things I get to make is videos talking about Tokyo Ghoul, but it's getting to talk with you guys down in the comments that I love so much. So if you guys are new to my channel and just want to join in on the conversations we have down in the comments, just on Tokyo Ghoul in general, please feel free to subscribe. I would love to talk with you guys. The more fans that I get to talk to about Tokyo Ghoul, I say the better, and you guys are more than welcome. So that's gonna be the end of this review, guys. Until next week, when we have chapter 132, and hopefully we learn more about the underground next week, I'll talk with you guys then. Stay awesome, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.